All right, welcome to the Explainer. So today, we are diving into Warren Buffett's latest bombshell. I'm talking about the Q3 earnings report from Berkshire Hathaway that has, well, pretty much the entire financial world buzzing. It's funny. Just a few months ago, things were looking a little shaky. Berkshire had a really tough second quarter. They got hammered by these huge insurance losses from natural disasters. And, well, the whispers started. People were asking, is the magic fading? Is the Oracle of Omaha, at 95 years old, finally losing his touch? And then this number dropped, $13.5 billion. And that's not revenue, that's operating profit for just one quarter. I mean, this wasn't just a good number, it was a massive, powerful statement to everyone who was doubting them. And hey, to put that into perspective for you, that's a massive 34% jump in earnings from the same time last year. It just blew past all the expectations and pretty much silenced all those doubters overnight. And then there's this number. Wow, this is the record-breaking pile of cash that Berkshire is now sitting on. It's a literal mountain of money, and it sends a clear signal, right? The Oracle is as patient, as powerful, and as ready to strike as ever. He's just waiting for the right moment. Okay, so let's really dive into this. How did Berkshire pull off such a spectacular turnaround? How did they go from a really shaky quarter to an absolute triumph? Let's break it down. So the heart of this story, really, is a huge shift in Berkshire's most important business, insurance. Think about it like this. In Q2, they were in the middle of a storm, right? Hit hard by costly natural disasters, which means they're paying out a ton of claims. But then, in Q3, the weather was much calmer. Fewer disasters meant fewer claims. And that's when Berkshire's smart underwriting, pricing their insurance policies correctly, really got to shine. And what happened? Profits just exploded. Okay, but how exactly did this happen? Let's pop the hood on Berkshire's secret weapon, the real engine that powers this entire empire. It all comes down to this concept that Warren Buffett has absolutely mastered. It's called insurance float. Now, in simple terms, here's what it is. Berkshire collects all our insurance payments upfront, right? But they don't have to pay out claims right away. So they get to invest that massive pool of money for their own profit. It's basically like getting a giant, super low-cost loan from millions of people. From us, the policyholders. It's genius. And this is how that simple insurance policy you might have with them gets turned into this incredibly powerful investment engine. You see it here. Step 1, they collect all the premiums for millions of us. Step 2, they invest that float into great stocks, bonds, whole businesses. And then step 3, they pay out claims as they come in, but they get to keep all the profits from those investments. It's this brilliant, self-sustaining cycle that just keeps feeding the whole Berkshire machine. And boom, here's the result. Just look at the difference a calm quarter and a smart strategy can make. They're underwriting profit, and that's the money they make just from selling insurance, not even from investing. It jumped from $750 million in Q2 all the way up to $2.4 billion in Q3. That's more than a 200% increase in just 3 months. It's incredible. But look, Berkshire is so much more than just an insurance company, right? So let's see how all this success in insurance ripples through the rest of the empire. We're talking about everything from railroads to one of the most famous stock portfolios on the planet. And this is so important to understand. While insurance was definitely the star of the show this quarter, the entire machine is just incredibly strong and balanced. You've got the railroad, utilities and energy, manufacturing. All these different parts are pumping out profits. This is no one-trick pony. It's a truly diversified powerhouse. And if you want a perfect example of how they play the long game, just look at their legendary investment in Apple. They started buying back in 2016. They held on through all the ups and downs, all the market craziness, and today, that initial investment has just ballooned into a holding worth a staggering amount of money. I mean, just look at this chart. It shows you just how huge that one bet on Apple has become. It's that giant slice of the pie, making up a massive chunk of their public stock portfolio. And it's classic Buffett, right? Make these big, concentrated bets on amazing companies you really understand, and then just hold on for the long haul. And here's the kicker. All these profits, from the insurance, from the railroad, from those stock dividends, it all flows into one place. This, the largest cash hoard in corporate history. And what does that give them? It gives Buffett and his team unparalleled firepower. They can just sit back, be patient, and wait for the next big opportunity, the next market downturn, to buy even more great businesses at a fantastic price. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? I mean, it's great for Berkshire, but what can we, as regular investors, actually learn from it? How do we apply these principles to our own lives?
Well, it turns out Berkshire's strategy is actually a pretty powerful blueprint for any of us. Think about it. You can build your own float by having a solid emergency fund. You can diversify your own investments so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. And maybe most importantly, you can be patient just like Buffett is with that huge pile of cash. You wait for great opportunities and focus on quality companies that have what he calls a moat, a durable competitive advantage that protects them from the competition.
Ultimately, this Q3 report is just the perfect embodiment of Buffett's most famous philosophy, which you see right here in this quote. It's a masterclass in resilience, discipline, and the profound power of playing the long game. And it proves, once again, that in the world of investing, patience isn't just a virtue, it's a superpower. So the real question is, are you playing the long game?